Dumbo is my favorite Disney film of all time. It is so sweet, and the message of the very things that you think are your negatives actually become your greatest attributes is such a beautiful message.
Dumbo's always been the icon of Craftland. It's been in the collection since almost the beginning. When we made the documentary Finding Craftland, when it came time to make the poster, it was clear that Richard and I had to be in Dumbo soaring over Craftland. So the artist Matthew Peet came to the house and he posed us as if we were actually soaring in the Dumbo over Craftland. He's so jolly looking and he's kind of looking up at you as you're sitting in his back and he's happy to be soaring with you. It really is a beautiful piece.
And as a kid, to sit in Dumbo and go around and around. So when it went up for auction, I had to have it. And it was at a Disney convention. So I kept going and bidding to get somebody on the phone. Rumor was Michael Jackson. I don't know. But everyone in the room wants me to win it. So now it's going higher and higher and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the excitement of the auction happens. And it's my turn to go up one bid increment. And the whole room's chanting, Dumbo, Dumbo. And I go, no, I will not pay that amount. And I went up 2 bid increments. There's a pause. The woman on the phone's listening. She looks up at me. Dumbo is yours. So Dumbo arrives in a crate, literally with his nose hanging out. It was like Mama Dumbo in the movie. And I couldn't get him in my door because his ears were too wide. So for a long time, he lived in a warehouse. And it broke my heart because now it's like I own him and he's not soaring. So I moved to a new house. One of the big requirements was that there were double doors that his ear span could get through.
We realized even though Dumbo could fit through the French doors of Craftland, there was a fence around the front area, so we had to get a crane.
He was flying. He went through the doors.
I guess it's like a scissor lift where they put Dumbo up, and much like you're actually flipping that switch, slowly Dumbo would rise up to the ceiling.
Got soldered into place, and I was told that during an earthquake, the safest place to be was under Dumbo. Don't believe it, but I was told it.
Back at dirt.
For some reason, there are people who don't love Disneyland. I don't understand them. I judge them immensely. But even those people love the Peter Pan ride.
There's something really emotional about soaring over London. It taps into a lot of childhood fantasy and emotion.
There's no other ride at Disneyland like it where you're actually suspended from the ceiling, and a lot of the ride is spent looking down at these miniature models of London and Neverland, and it's really magical.
It's just beautifully, beautifully designed. And to finally get it, and it came in a giant crate, and I could never figure out where to put it in the house, so it stayed in a giant crate. I got to open up the crate to see what was inside with my friend Robin Lopez, who's sitter for the Chicago Bulls. And here 2 very grown men are sitting talking about our love of the Peter Pan ride in a pirate ship, in a crate, in a warehouse. The other thing that's famous about the Peter Pan ride, the worst loading capacity of any ride. So there's always a line, which sort of makes it feel a little more exclusive when you actually get on it. So Nikki and I went around the world researching the world's best roller coasters, went on almost 500 coasters.
Of course, we learned that the first steel roller coaster was at Disneyland. It was the Matterhorn. It was in our backyard.
It has 2 different tracks, so we got to count it as 2 different roller coasters. Fun factoid, Matterhorn bobsleds is based on a Disney movie from 1959, Third Man on the Mountain. Third Man is the number of people who ever saw that film.
The Matterhorn is my favorite ride to go on at night. You're constantly going in and out of the Matterhorn and you get these views of Disneyland, and it's just beautiful. It's a very jerky roller coaster. It's not actually a comfortable, lovely experience, but at night it's serene up there. You really do feel like you're at the top of a mountain.
Owning a bobsled is unbelievable because it has no other context. You're only used to going like this in a mountain, and then it's part of your life. It's like having cool runnings at your own house.
It's bobsled time! Cool running!
The most terrifying 2 rides at Disneyland are Pinocchio and the horror show that is Snow White.
I'm trying to think of the last time I went on it, and I'm realizing that I probably avoid it.
Oh yeah, it starts off, we're all happy and there's dwarfs and stuff, but then it's a descent into a dark forest,
Because there are those scary trees and there's the awful witch.
of which I have the model they built the evil witch from. It's just misery, and the whole ride culminates with them slaughtering the old hag. It is non-stop terror.
There's nothing kiddie about it.
And I have one of the ride vehicles from it, which is Bashful. So we kept the Bashful mobile in the front of our house.
We had the legendary artist Al Hirschfeld create a drawing of us on a roller coaster. We decided to turn the bashful Snow White ride vehicle that we had in our front yard into our temporary roller coaster car.
So now that Bashful mobile is immortalized in an Al Hirschfeld drawing.
So there's this 2-foot tall witch from Snow White that was a store display that for years was by our kitchen. And as a small kid, when I'd wake up in the middle of the night to go get a glass of water, I would walk by this 2-foot tall witch in a glass case. And my biggest fear was that I was gonna come back from the kitchen and she wasn't gonna be in the glass case. And she's very scary and very creepy, especially to like an 8-year-old.